Athlete Spotlight. I'm Nick Novi, your host and Athletic Communications Director, and we're joined by two-sport freshman athlete, freshman superstar, Ajanae Cressey. And Ajanae, it's been an incredible year for you so far. It's only just begun, but sort of just talk about this fall. You remember the Lady Marauder volleyball team. Talk about perhaps your most memorable moment.
I think my most memorable moment would probably be the first time beating K-State. I know that they're a rival team and we never beat them before, and every time we beat K-State, actually, because, sometimes you win once and it's just a fluke, but to win multiple times against them, it proves that we are the better team. So that was probably the most memorable, happiest moment.
Talk a little bit about that game, because that was the very first match of the year. You played well, the team played well, and because of COVID and some of the cancellations, that was a match that wasn't even supposed to happen. So, and it was on the road. Talk a little bit more about that.
It was very different because, we're a new team, all freshmen, sophomores. We had some returning seniors, but their year wasn't the greatest either. And then COVID, and it was just a lot going on. But for us to come together, not knowing each other, not having any type of history, to play schools that have way more history than us and that has beat us and don't think anything of us, it was a great experience. I love the people that I played with. I'd do it all over again.
And, for our friends down in the Commonwealth state, we ended up beating you guys 3 out of 4, I think, something like that. So we won't rub it in too hard. You come to us from Las Vegas, all the way from Nevada, and that's a long way. Nevada all the way to Wilberforce, Ohio, especially as we sit here and it's, late November and it's starting to get cold out. But talk a little bit about your recruiting process and what ultimately drew you to Central State.
My recruiting process was very hectic because I started late in the game. My senior year is when I started emailing coaches and trying to get myself out there. Just because I didn't necessarily know how the whole process was supposed to go. But the more I started to email coaches and go to these tournaments and play club, I started to get recognized. And coach actually knows my high school coach, which is my high school volleyball coach who coached me for 3 years. So that was a really good connection. And they ended up finding me at a volleyball tournament that I played with my club. So then me talking, about myself and the sports I do, I mentioned that I do track. So then I emailed the track coach and was able to come here on a full ride. So.
Yeah, and we mentioned earlier, two-sport athletes, so it's been a great volleyball season for you as a freshman. We'll get into that, but you were also, Nevada State Gatorade Athlete of the Year as a track star. Talk a little bit about that.
That was very shocking, very surprising. I was not focused on getting Gatorade Player of the Year or anything like that. It just came out of the blue. I only did track for 3 years. I pretty much coached myself because we didn't really have the best track. We had a good track program, but we didn't have a coach for the specific, sorry.
You're a high jumper and a long jumper, and you didn't have a coach specifically for the jumps, huh?
I didn't have a coach specifically for hurdles. And that's probably my best event. So I went from year 1 to, just try these hurdles, see what it's like. I ended up getting my 3-step down the first day. They're like, whoa, you're great. And that was it. I really didn't get enough feedback on what I should do better. And then year 2, I learned some different exercises that could help me become better with my hurdles. Year 3, COVID, so didn't really have it. Then year 4, my coach was like, okay, if you do hurdles, go with AJ. While he coached sprints and other events. And then I was basically coaching all the freshmen coming in doing hurdles because I was just naturally good at them. But I'm very excited for this year because we actually have a real coach now. So I feel like, me winning or getting Gatorade Player of the Year just basically off of teaching myself how to do hurdles. If I really had structure behind it, I'd be even greater.
And we're here with Ajanae Cressey, two-sport athlete. We call her AJ, and you mentioned Coach Lightfoot, our new track coach, and also Coach Ray Lewis, instrumental in the recruiting process. But prior to that, it seems like just pure athleticism. If anyone hasn't seen AJ perform, it's pure athleticism out there. Do you ever find yourself, you mentioned you got to figure out the hurdles kind of yourself, but do you ever find yourself kind of freestyling out there? We've seen you make some crazy plays with, volleyball. Usually you think about, hand quickness and reaction, but you're making plays, saving balls with your feet, all kinds of stuff. Are you freestyling out there ever?
Yes, volleyball is sometimes it's your reaction. My high school coach, my nickname used to be Whiplash because my reaction time, I just react and just get the ball up. It would look so goofy and so funny, but it's up and it's playable. A lot of the times, volleyball will never go the way you want. You have 5 other people on the court who also play a part. If you don't get a good pass, you can't get a good set, and you can't get a good kill. So you really do have to use your athleticism to get these points. So if, let's say, the ball, serve receive ball comes over, if a player gets a terrible pass and I get a terrible set, me as a hitter, I have to get a point. That is my job, is to score the ball. So regardless of how bad they did or how bad somebody else did, I know my job is to get the ball over the net no matter what. If that's kicking it with my feet or hitting it with my head or running out and I almost tackled a line judge once, so it's really, it's quick thinking, 100%.
And for those watching, if you haven't been to a Lady Marauder volleyball match, you're going to have to wait now. 2022, they'll be back at it. But it is full pace, fast paced action, especially with new Coach Ray and ladies like who we're talking to right here. It's an exciting team to watch. For you individually, the accolades kind of came right away. You were named Offensive Player of the Week after week 1, and those things kind of went on. Of course, one of the top offensive players, along with your teammate Jasmine Walker and Haley White. And recently, just last week, as you guys went to the tournament, you were named Freshman of the Year and First Team. Talk about that.
Again, a shock. This one was even bigger because I originally was a middle. I've been playing volleyball since I was probably 8, maybe. Played a year, then didn't, played a year, then didn't. But I've always been a middle. That's the only position I played. That's the only position coaches would make me know. So me coming into a new year with a new team, playing a position that I've never stepped foot in was very different. I did not feel like I was at the level I was supposed to be. I felt like I was behind everybody else. I had to learn how to pass. I don't know if everybody knows about volleyball, but once you're middle, you never go back row ever. So you never have to learn how to pass. I didn't know how to pass. My timing was wrong. It's way easier to get blocked on the outside because middles, they're quicker. So it's harder to block. But outsides, you have way more time to get a touch on their ball. So it was definitely a shock and it was hard and it was definitely a hard transition. But I persevered. As much as I get in my head, my coach was very patient with me, because I'm not the best when I get upset, but he's been very patient with me and helped me a lot through just learning a new position. And then I'm a freshman, and to go behind somebody like Jazz, sadly she was hurt in the beginning of the season, but to go behind someone like Jazz, I'm like, wow, I'm nowhere near I'm supposed to be. But she helped me, my teammates helped me. It's been a fun and sad and scary experience, but it's been great.
and let's go into the team a little bit, and I'll give perspective for those that are watching. I've been here quite a few years, and a lot of us that have watched the volleyball program over the years, I think our best record had been 500 overall, and some struggles over the years. And all of a sudden, new coach, right? And you mentioned, I think the majority of our players are all new. A few returners that actually improved and contributed quite a bit, but a team comprised of freshmen, sophomores, first-year players. And you guys went on and had the first 20-plus win season in 2 decades here at Central State, and the best finish in the SIAC 14-3 conference record. You mentioned you beat Kentucky State not once but 3 times, and a long run into the SIAC tournament earlier this week. So of all those things, all these accomplishments, team accomplishments, what do you think? I mean, can you summarize the culture, the mindset of the team this year, and also as you move forward into 2022?
I think our team has been through a lot of ups and downs. Just like anybody you meet, anybody new, you have to figure them out. It took us a second to figure each other out, but that's why we were able to go so far. In the beginning of the season, it was a little rough, it was a little shaky. Sometimes you don't like new people, then they get better down. Like my coach told me first week, he was like, go ahead, tell me who you don't like, because that's who you'll be rooming with, because the person you don't like will probably be your best friend at the end of the season. So there's a lot of people like, oh, I don't really like her, or I don't really know about this person. But in the end of the season, we all came together. Even if we didn't like each other, we respected each other on the court, which was the biggest thing, which is the reason why we were able to go so far. Sometimes Jazz is very competitive, very competitive. Sometimes I might have a bad day, and her competitiveness might make me a little upset. Or same thing with or Corey or Diamond or Haley or anybody else on the team. But I knew on the court, if we really needed to put a ball away, Jazz is going to put a ball away. Haley's going to get a kill. Dime's going to get a tip. Sorry, trying to think of names off the top of my head.
A lot of contributors. And, you know, as we talk about the team, I think there's a lot of unsung heroes. You talk about ladies like Kayla Adams, Michaela Leah, the 2 setters, and also Christina Reyes. So, I mean, the list goes on and on, right?
Yeah. We are all very athletic. We all bring something to the table, which is something that a lot of teams have. We don't have bench warmers. We have players. Like some people really do just have bench warmers, and they're just there just to make the team look big. But everybody on our team can play, and they bring something to the table.
As we transition, we mentioned once again 2-sport athlete, and now you go right into it with track and field. And Coach Lightfoot has been excited to maybe kind of get you away from volleyball a little bit into focus in the track program. Indoor season right around the corner, and then of course track and field really never ends. I think for folks that don't understand, it really doesn't stop. Talk about your goals as a freshman going into the track and field program, and just how your feelings are overall as you prepare for the season.
My goal is just to get better. Like with the Gatorade Player of the Year award and the Freshman of the Year award, that wasn't something I was looking forward to. I'm very happy and very grateful and blessed that it happened, but my goal is to just get better. I always want to be the best. I'm very competitive, especially when I do bad. That's why I say Coach is very patient with me, because when I don't do the best, it makes me super angry because I know I can do better than what I'm doing. So going into track, my goal is to just be better, to just learn, because I wasn't able to have a coach to actually coach me. So I really want to see how far I can take it and how far things will go for me.
And I'm not sure if you're aware of the history. A lot of great track and field performers coming out of Central State, including, when you look at that ladies program, 7 national titles in the 90s and a gold Olympian. I think a lot of folks kind of forget that. So I'm sure you're looking to duplicate that and bring that tradition back to Central State. as you move forward, we're sitting here, it's end of November, it's 2021, you're a freshman, right? Fast forward 4 years from now, 2025, we're sitting here having the same conversation, the same sort of format interview. What do you think you want to accomplish by then?
Wow, that's a great question. I would definitely see myself in the Olympics for track. Volleyball, college is probably as far as it'll go. If it could go any further, I'd be great. Like, I'd be grateful for that. But track, I definitely would like to go to the Olympics for that. Hopefully, if that doesn't happen and just sports is just over, I would love to become a chiropractor and a masseuse. Like kind of like doing my own business, entrepreneur, traveling the world, going to, I don't know, like famous people, famous basketball teams, NBA, NFL, hockey, just still staying in the sports business. But yeah, hopefully things turn out the way I want them. And if not, then that's how they were meant to be.
Excellent. And you do talk about, at some point, competition on the court, on the track, that does come to an end at some point. And it's always good to have a plan once that's over. And it sounds like you've given that some thought. As we close out today's segment, of course, we could talk for, hours and hours about your accomplishments and the teams in Central State. But as we close out today, I want to give you the stage and give you some time to perhaps shout out some friends, family members, supporters, of course, all your folks way out there in Nevada and on the West Coast. What would you like to say to those that are watching?
Big shout out to my mom and dad and stepmom. They've been there with me since day one. My mom has put me in every sport you can imagine or think of. To be honest, if it wasn't for that lady, I don't know if I'd be here right now. My dad's always pushing me. He always, me being frustrated, he's the most patient person with me. So he always brings me back to reality. Melissa's always there for me about taking care of my body, making sure I'm healthy. My friends, my best friend, she's always there checking on me. She's always watching my games. She's one of the greatest supporters. My guy best friend, same thing, like always checking up on me. I have really great family and friends all around. I'm very blessed. My teammates, I'm very blessed for them because even though it's a team sport, you still are an individual on the court. And they helped me build me to this. They were patient with me as well. AJ, calm down. It's okay. You got it. Next ball, next point. Calm down. Come on, AJ, bring it back in. Let's go right here. Don't even worry about what coach is saying right now. He's upset. Look at me. Talk to me. So they've definitely helped me persevere through a lot of things that have happened throughout. My auntie Cece recently passed, but I would love to thank her because she would always call me and she was just very, very excited to see how far I would go in, the sports industry. And I'm very thankful for that. And just people who watch me, and I've had people in high school, freshmen, text me and be like, oh my goodness, AJ, I literally want to be like you someday. And that really hit close to home. I was like, I'm not this good, but thank you so much. But that it made me realize there are actually people who watch me and, watch everything I do. And they're like, oh my goodness, I want to be like that. I want to be like you. So that is it blows my mind. But I'd like to thank anybody who supports me or who just watches me or who's even just watching this. I'm truly blessed.
And you mentioned, obviously, already a great start to the collegiate career, and it's only just begun. So we're looking forward to the future and seeing what you bring to Central State athletics and representing your family and future success for Ajanae Cressey, AJ Cressey. Some people may call her Whiplash. But we thank you for joining us today, and we encourage everyone to continue to follow AJ, her teammates, both volleyball and as we transition into track and field season on maraudersports.com, as well as our social media links Instagram, Twitter, go_Marauders, as well as our official Facebook page. AJ, thanks for joining us today. You can see more of these segments throughout the year on maraudersports.com, as well as our YouTube pages. Thanks for joining us. Go Marauders.